Now that you have completed your counter-argument and your thesis, you're going to move forward with body number 1. Now, I suggest that you do this in whichever way you feel comfortable. Some people, the way their brain is working that day, or how it always does, is they prefer to come up with their example first. That'll back up speaking the truth or their thesis. Make sure your example is specific. It cannot be, people usually do this and sometimes when... No, it has to be a specific moment from preferably your life. Okay, so you're going to tell a story here. I'll write that. That's the story part. That'll back up your thesis. All right. For the sake of doing this in order, I'm going to start with the reason. And the reason is going to come from where we've already brainstormed reasons under what we chose to be our thesis. So since this is a video and you can't tell me which one you want to move forward with, I already chose for us. These are going to be my 2 reasons. So they're going to go in my circles. All right. I'm going to use this last one first. And I'll pause as I'm writing this in. Okay, so as you can see from our reasons, I copied that right here. I did, in my natural writing process mind, which is all of our minds, I did add more words to make it flow more smoothly than the plain note that I made over here. So it is our moral responsibility to come forward with the truth when it is needed to restore peace and justice. So my example needs to show a story about moral responsibility, and it needed to come forward with the truth to restore peace and justice. Okay, my story needs to show that reason and how super important it is. So, guys, you can think of a story that happened to a friend, or a friend of a friend, or a family member, or of course yourself. But make these stories sound as if you were the one experiencing it. That is my suggestion. Of course, you are your own writer. So if you're feeling something else strongly, go for it. But that is my suggestion, that you write personal examples, personal stories in these green boxes. Okay. So to start this green box, we start with, for example, and I'm going to tell a story that didn't happen to me, but it happened to a student that I knew, so I'm going to write about it as if it was me. So for example, when I was 15 years old, and what I typically do when I'm drafting an essay for the story part, I write out bullets to myself. And then when I'm typing my essay or writing it out in the test, of course I will remove my bullets and make it all flow in sentences. All right, Hurricane Harvey, that is something that will certainly get to the heart of our readers. Okay, Hurricane Harvey, my apartment flooded. Tragically, this happened to one of my students, many of my students. Apartment flooded. Mom had 10-month-old baby. So my sister and we put baby's clothes and items up high to keep dry and safe from floodwater. Went to shelter. Someone broke in and stole TVs. And this is the sad part, though. They left baby's things in water. Everything ruined. All right. This story clearly is going to get at the heart of my reader, and that's our goal. Persuasion. Use pathos. Use emotion. So I need to connect this story to restoring peace and justice, and it's our responsibility to speak the truth to do that. So this is where that part comes in. A neighbor witnessed the robbery and identified, because they knew who the person was, identified man to police. Robber was arrested. All right, so restoring peace and justice because this neighbor spoke the truth. All right, now the concluding sentence. The concluding sentence, think of this as the how. How did this story prove our thesis? That we must speak the truth, that it's our moral responsibility to speak the truth. How did this sentence just do, or how did this example, this story just do that? Well, I always start with, therefore, coming forward. So I'm using, coming forward, I'm using the language from up here to come forward. Coming forward with the truth is our, and instead of saying moral responsibility again, I'm going to use a synonym and say it's our duty, and it can really people who need assistance. Okay, so to help people, that's my restoring peace and justice. All right, I'm going to pause as I fill in this second one for you, and I'm going to use the same method. I'm going to get this pink one, my topic sentence, right from here. Honesty ensures peaceful conscience. Put that right here. Then I'm going to come up with a story for my example, and it's going to be personal and specific. And then in the triangle, I'm going to say how my story proved my topic and thesis. Okay, so I wrote in the second reason. All right, to be honest is to ensure a peaceful conscience. Guilt does not burden those who are truthful. Okay, so here's my specific example, which will be told as a little mini story. For instance, when I was 14, my older sister ran away. She told me her plan a couple days before actually doing it. She told me she would be with people that I knew were bad influences in her life, asked that I not tell parents her plans nor where she was. However, when I saw how worried and heartbroken my parents were, right, this is where it's getting back to my topic. My guilty conscience ate away at me because I knew the truth, and that truth was that she wasn't in a safe place. So I told my parents everything. Okay? So it's back to speaking the truth. All right, concluding sentence. This is my how. How did this story just prove my thesis? Now, my sister is back home, safe and happy again, which proves that when we open up with honesty, we free ourselves, and that benefits others too. All right, and that is the end of planning your body paragraphs. I recommend pausing and copying down if you are following along.